I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you.
Happy Homebrew Wednesday on a Wednesday, and it's been a bit. Not a homebrew, but I have this beer called Mass X Acceleration. It's a double IPA. I think it's an Imperial IPA. Imperial, man, I'm out of practice. Hazy IPA. Smells great. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay. Wow, that's like a very... Oh, very citrus. Huge citrus, kind of a sweet citrus, like a orange, ripe orange. Oh, this is really good. Okay, I haven't done a Homebrew Wednesday in a while. I intended to do one the weekend before last. I think that's the last one. I don't know. I have to go back and look and see when's the last time I did one. I think it has been a few weeks. But I was going to do a brew day 2 weekends ago, and maybe I talked about this, but my electrical brew control system crapped out on me. The PID for the hot liquor tank wasn't working, and it was the brew I was supposed to be doing with my buddy Stein. It was going to be a collab porter. And so, yeah, so I had to send my electrical brew control, my electric brew control box off to High Gravity, which High Gravity is an awesome place. Not the, I should plug these guys. High Gravity, it's higggravity.com. They're really, really good. That's where I bought my system, and I've sent that thing back, I think once, and it really wasn't a problem with it, but they went ahead and sent it back to me. The second time, this most recent time, the PID went out, and those guys just replaced the PID on it. That thing has got to be, I don't know if they have a warranty program, but if they did have one, it would certainly be beyond the warranty. Guy replaced it, didn't charge me for it, sent it back. Awesome, guys. So I'm back up and running, and this past weekend I did a brew day. I did a IPA, just a regular IPA. It was a Deschutes fresh squeeze clone. I just kind of figured out what the malts and the hops were and just came up with a recipe. Should be around 6.5 to 6.8% ABV, I think, which is about the ABV of that one, as long as I don't get lower on gravity than I think. But I'll show. I don't have a whole lot of footage from it, but I'll show some of that brew day, and the beer just took off. I think that night it was bubbling, and the next day it was going crazy. So it's a good brew day. But this next weekend, I think my buddy Stein is back. He was on vacation, I think, and he's getting back home, and everything works out. We will be doing a brew day this weekend to do the porter collab that we're going to do. I got to talk to him though, because man, there's this beer called, it's from Benchtop Brewing, which is down in Richmond, and this beer is called Walter's Toast. Walter's Toast. It's an imperial porter brewed with coffee, cacao, maple syrup, cinnamon, vanilla, and milk sugar. It tastes like it knocked my socks off. I mean, this thing was so good. It's about 8%, I think. Yeah, it's 8% exactly. Damn, that's a good beer. Oh my God, that's a good beer. I had to go back and get another 4-pack because my wife loves porters, and this is like a really nice imperial porter. Imperial porters, every time I have one, I always forget how much I like them. And so I usually do I brew like a regular porter, and I always forget that I really like imperial porters. So my sister is staying with me, and she, came up here saying, I don't like beer. I don't like beer. And I said, you just haven't found the right beer yet. And so I gave her this imperial porter the other night, and she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over this beer. So I went ahead and had to get another 4-pack, because I know she and I are going to go through these. They're really, really good. We're actually on a Star Wars binge. We've literally watched every Star Wars, starting this past weekend to now, and we're now going to watch, I think, the last one, maybe tonight if we're up for it. But it'll be the 9th and final Star Wars. And we haven't done the Star Wars sagas yet, but We haven't done The Mandalorian, so we haven't done any of the animated series, but she loves Star Wars, which, she's from the Dean blood, so of course she loves Star Wars. But anyway, the brew day this past weekend, the IPA I did, like I said, I didn't get a whole lot of video on it, but it went really well. It was, let's see, the malt was 2-row, some Munich, I think I used Bonlander Munich, and some Caramel 20. I tried to get 30, but they didn't have it. So, but then for hops, it was a little bit of Magnum, and then Citra and Mosaic. And I used Cryo, Citra, and Mosaic. So I think the IBUs will be around 62, which is, I think is about what fresh squeezed is. And the color came out really well. I think if I'd have used Caramel 30, it almost would have been too dark, because I boiled it pretty heavy. I got back to my roots of boiling really heavy, and I thought that I had done too tight of a crush on it, and it was going to affect my my efficiency. But I think my efficiency problems were tied to temperature. I don't think it was tied to the crush. I mean, maybe it was, but before I sent this electrical brew control in, it was weird. I couldn't keep a normal temperature in the mash tun, and it wasn't the mash tun PID that went. It was the hot liquor tank PID. But now I've got the new PID in, and while the thing was gone, I went ahead and bought a couple of new temperature probe cables, and they're shielded, so they got a nice coating of insulated coating on them. And I'm thinking that there must have been something wrong with one of the cables, because the temperature held perfect, and not only did it do that, there was this weird thing where in the mash tun, the temperature would read a certain thing on the EBC, but then you look down on the dial and the temperature would be dropping. And by the time it caught up, it was like a huge differential in the temperature. So now that I've got this new shielded cable, so maybe it was a combination of things. Maybe it was a combination of the shielded cable and the PID, but the temperature was always rock solid exactly on the PID what it was on the analog dial on the front of the kettles. So my efficiency was back to what I remember it used to be. I mean, I used to be able to dial in my gravity. I actually got a little bit higher, a couple of higher points. So I was looking for a 1063, I think, and I got a 1065, or was it? Yeah, 1060. Or maybe I was looking for a 1060. Yeah, 1063, and I got a 1065. I think that's what I was looking for. It was really, or maybe it was a 10, whatever. I was 2 points over what I thought I was going to get on my final gravity. So my brew house efficiency is back to 85, 82.5%, somewhere around there. So that's awesome. Especially going into the big beer season, which we're about to get into. So it'd be nice. I need to start. Last year was the year of the lager. I brewed more lagers this year than ever before. I think I've done 7 lagers this year or something like that. This year is going to be, I don't know. I don't know what this year is going to be. I'll have to think about it when New Year's is coming up. Well, it needs to be, hell, this year sucked. Weird year to pick to call it the year of the lager. It was the year of the pandemic, and the year of my dog dying, and the year of my uncle passing away, and a lot of bad stuff happened in the global pandemic. But with the murder hornets, and the year of Carol Baskin. This has just been a crazy, crazy year. So I don't know. I don't know what next year's beer thing is going to be. Maybe it'll be a bunch of dark and imperial. Maybe it's barrel aged. Maybe I'll have to get some more barrels. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Update on the barrel. I actually topped it off because it had been a month, and put some more of the barley wine in, and started seeping back out again, and I put some more wax on it. But it seems to be holding fine. And I think that's it for today. So wow, I've already killed 9 minutes. So that's all I got for today, folks. Get yourself, if you can get benchtop. This is easily one of the top handful of breweries in Virginia. I was just talking about this to my buddy up at my packaged my bottle shop. But get yourself some Walter's Toast. This thing is just ridiculously good. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Have yourself a happy homebrew, and have a very, very happy homebrew Wednesday. And get out there and check out those new fall colors. All the leaves are changing now. If you live in a place that actually has a fall season. Cheers. Oh, forgot to tell you, I'll put up another picture here. Saturday, my neighbor, Andy, lives at the end of the street. He's got this Kamado Joe's smoker, and I've always been fascinated with smoking. I'm from Texas, so I love me some brisket. And he went and bought a big-ass brisket and, you know, trimmed it the day before or whatever. And I said, because I seen him 2 weeks ago, and we were over at their house doing kind of a little happy hour with masks and all that. And I said, man, I really want to, I'd love to see your smoking process. So he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. So he's like, I'll pick up a brisket. And so we planned for the next weekend on Saturday. You know, he would go get a brisket. We would trim it the night before and do, you know, so I wasn't able to go when he trimmed it, but he showed pictures. But I got up the next morning at like 6 and went over there, and he showed me how he lines up the charcoal, big hunks of charcoal and big hunks of this this wood stock. I forget what this, apple wood stock, I think. And he had some chunks of that and then the lighter. And we got the thing up to temp, and you use the little, you know, flumes to get the temperature just right. We got it to like 125 or 225, and then we put the brisket on there. And then, of course, I think around noon, he started spritzing it with water to get the brisket ring, that kind of, where you get the bark on the outside, the dark bark on the outside of the meat, and then you get this little red ring on the underside of the meat. But he went through all that, and we had dinner. I made homemade baked beans and coleslaw. Nolan, his wife, made corn pudding. And then he brought out this brisket. And I guess also there's a part of the brisket you take off. It's connected by some kind of weird muscle thing, tissue. And you take it, you chop it up. It's the fatty part of it. You chop it up and you put it on a regular grill with some barbecue sauce. That's separate from the brisket after it's cooked to a certain point. And so he did that. I mean, if this isn't making your mouth water, it should, because holy crap, that brisket was just mouth-watering. Even my daughter, who's kind of hard to please, she's a very finicky eater. She was like, oh my God. My sister was like, I was having a hard time getting her to go down because she's kind of new here in the neighborhood, doesn't really know everybody. She went down there and said, oh my God, this is good. I ate way too much. I've been losing a lot of weight, by the way. I don't know if you can tell, my face is getting skinny. I have lost probably, I'm 17, 20, I've lost about 15 to 16 pounds in the last couple of months. Man, I feel great. I'm sleeping great. Here I am telling the story about all this brisket. I didn't really, that's the one day I ate a lot of stuff, but you know, I'm kind of now where I eat one helping and I don't go back for seconds, but I broke the rule this past Saturday, and man, that brisket was really, really good. So then now I'm going to hit 15 minutes. So then I talked to my wife and said, hey, you know, can I get a Kamado Joe's? And say, oh, they're on sale. And she's like, no, I don't want you to have any more hobbies. You've got beer. That's enough. I don't need another hobby. So I'm going to have to work on her, because I hear that smoking a turkey is like the best way to have turkey. You know, some people say, oh, it's deep frying, you know, but you know, I think it's smoking a turkey. My sister has been like really getting me fired up to do a smoked turkey. So I got to figure out a way to con my wife into getting a Kamado Joe. Looks like I just figured out the title for this episode. So anyway, now I'm done. Have yourself a happy homebrew, and have a very, very happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers. Happy Homebrew Wednesday in the Dean's List. Doing I'm going to do this is kind of a clone I did of Deschutes Fresh Squeezed. I got a 6-pack of that a while back and really, really liked it. And so decided I wanted to try that for a brew day. So I've got about 9 pounds of 2-row, 2 pounds of Bonlander Munich, and a pound of Crystal 20. Be probably a little lighter of the color I wanted. I wanted to use Crystal 30, but you can't really find Crystal 30. And then for hops, I'm using just shy of an ounce of Magnum at 60, so 3/4 of an ounce of Magnum at 60, and then 0.2 ounce each of Cryo, Citra, and Mosaic at 5, and then 0.8 ounce each of Cryo, Citra, and Mosaic for a 20, probably 30-minute whirlpool. So that should get me around 60, 61 IBUs, and should be about a 6.5% beer. From last brew I did, I was having a problem with the grain being crushed too fine. I thought that I had widened the gap on my roller, but apparently I didn't, so I got a pretty fine crush on this one too. So hopefully that doesn't hurt me on my efficiency, and it probably will, but we'll see how it goes. Right now I've getting up to mash temp, just about up to 154. And then what is it, about 9:25? So I'm doing pretty good on time. It is Saturday before Columbus Day weekend. Or no, I'm sorry, Sunday before Columbus Day. Cheers. Okay, here we go. Initial runnings. I got a runoff of 1093, so I'm thinking that my crush is okay, even though it was too fine. Oh, look at the color of that coming in. That is gorgeous. Oh, this is going to be good. All right, didn't get much of the brew day, but now I'm in the 20-minute whirlpool. My pre-boil was 1054, so I think I'm going to be pretty good for final. We'll see. So my final gravity was supposed to be 1063, and I ended up at 1065. So that was pretty good. And let me see if I can show you how the fermentation's going. Oh, it's almost done. I guess it's still bubbling a little bit, but it was a beast, as you can tell. And yeah, I guess fermentation's almost about done. So, cheers.